Thanks for tuning in to Vitality and Motion. Let this be a place to grow your mindset and prioritize movement. All audio is original with music and production support from Riverside as my editing platform. This podcast is for education and inspiration only, and any studies or products I mention are simply for context. Take what fits in your life and check in with your healthcare medical providers as you feel is necessary. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Vitality in Motion. I'm your host Madi, and today we're going to do a little deep dive on creatine. I had some requests to discuss this topic a little further and wanted to share what I found. So we'll start with talking about some basics, and then I wanted to compare the differences between males and females. So let's go ahead and dive into it. What is creatine and how does the body use it? Creatine is an amino acid that is stored in our muscles used for creating ATP, which ATP is essentially our body's energy source. And the thing about creatine is that there is literally so much evidence-based research out there. I'm talking like over 500 peer-reviewed studies done. I found a really good article with some good talking points called Common Questions and Misconceptions About Creatine Supplementation. What does the scientific evidence really say? And I felt like it was very fitting for the discussion points that we're going to talk today. So most of my references are going to be from that study. And I don't think I mentioned, but the study was done in 2021. All right, so most of us probably obtain creatine through eating meat, mostly red meat or fish, or through supplementation. And our bodies naturally store creatine in the form of phosphocreatine in the muscles. However, when you take supplementation of creatine, your body will be able to obtain higher levels it can store, which what we learned in class is about 10 to 30%, leading to a faster regeneration of ATP, our energy source, which stands for adenosine triphosphate, leading to longer duration in exercise before the fatigue sets in. And how much creatine is recommended to take? Do we need to bulk up before? So from what I was researching, it's usually about 3 to 5 grams per day or 0.1 kilograms per body mass. And then what I feel like I learned in school is that they always taught us that you need to do a bulk up of your dosage when you start taking it, but that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. This may still be beneficial for an athlete trying to maximize potential in a short amount of time, but otherwise the lower dosage without the loading beforehand still shows benefit to increase the muscular storage and performance/recovery. And most of us probably associate creatine with endurance or strength training benefits, but it does have so much more than that, and I feel like this study really highlights those other benefits. So some other things to list off is that it has been shown to decrease muscle damage and enhance recovery from intense exercise specifically. There's also research suggesting that with athletes there are fewer musculoskeletal injuries and recovery is quicker with less atrophy present after immobilization from injury. It can also help as a hydrator, which may decrease heat-related illness. And lastly, I thought this was awesome, that it can almost be a neuroprotector, which suggests that it could decrease the severity of a spinal cord injury or concussion or even a brain injury, which is incredible. And it does seem that there's other studies that support this as well. So definitely Google that, look into that a little bit more, and tell me what you find. And I did want to highlight that there are multiple different types of creatine, but I don't necessarily feel like I need to dive into those because from what I was reading, creatine monohydrate is the golden standard and the most studied out of all of the different compounds. So I'll link an article that I found that explains each one and kind of compares it to creatine monohydrate. But again, just check your bottle that you're taking and see what kind it is. And this just goes back to brand marketing strategies for maybe these different strands to appear more beneficial than they actually are. I would say stick to the monohydrate compound since, like I said, it's the most studied and the golden standard up to this date. As for the benefits, males compared to females, commonality is that it can help with muscle performance and strength, and there are some cognitive benefits as well. I wanted to clear this up because I feel like there's a little stigma regarding creatine in females, and some females may think it's a little more dangerous for them to take, but based off of what I was reading, it's actually not dangerous at all, and females naturally have a higher concentration compared to males, which may be why some studies show diminished results or effects when studied on females versus males. Now, us females, we just manage our energy systems a little differently, and in fact, it does have multiple benefits for us, especially during our cycle, pregnancy, postpartum, perimenopause, and postmenopause. So to explain that a little further, creatine kinase, which is our energy manager, is influenced by estrogen and progesterone, which leads to decrease of creatine, especially in the first 20 weeks of pregnancy. This makes sense because our menstrual cycle and reproduction take more energy internally, so we don't have as much to spare. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like this has been studied on humans yet, mostly animals, but with what we know about creatine, it could likely be a safer option to take, especially if you have been taking it before pregnancy. But again, maybe this is something you consult with your doctor to confirm for sure, or you just wait until after you have the baby to start taking creatine. Either way, I think there's a lot of positive benefits from creatine, and it's worth to look into further. All right, and lastly, I just wanted to debunk some creatine myths and then give some creatine fun facts. Now, one of the most common ones I feel like I hear is, does creatine cause bloating? And I'm going to hit y'all with a response we get all the time in PT school is, quote unquote, it depends. So in the initial phase of starting creatine, you may have more water retention, so it may look like you have a little more bloating, but with anything, you have to give your body time to adjust. If you're taking a increase or surplus in creatine, your body's like, what do I do with that? So initially, sure, yes, you may have some, but that's not usually an issue for long-term users. Everybody's body is different though, so you may have it, you may not, it just depends. And then the next one is, does creatine cause kidney or renal dysfunction? No, it does not. Is creatine an anabolic steroid? No, it's a whole different chemical structure. Does creatine lead to hair loss? No, nothing directly correlates creatine to that. And then lastly, does creatine help with bone health? Yes, absolutely, especially if you have diagnosis of sarcopenia. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Creatine is honestly an amazing supplement, and our body does amazing things with it. So I hope y'all consider start taking it. Let me know if you do, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.